Okay, our recording has started actually. It's showing on my screen here the MB per second I'm using. 21 point what? 28 MB already. So let's move. The first one will be uploaded and the second one will also be uploaded, right? But that means we have two videos, like two complete videos. Now, you mentioned that the answer should be what? Collectively, you said that guy. Well, you guys made the right decision. This is what we call, you know how you go to Alaba and you carry your iPhone 10, you collect iPhone 11, right? So this time around, we did not pay for it. You collect iPhone 11 with broken screen, something. You don't have to pay for that one. Yes. Right? So what we did is we swapped the values on each variable. What we did is we said first name and that guy name. When we got first name, it should be what? Elijah. That guy name should be what? That guy. Then we swapped it to be what? That guy name, first name. So we are saying first name. Instead of it to be Elijah, become what? That guy. And who is that guy name? Elijah. That guy. Right? So we said that guy name. I want you to swap with what? First name. Who is first name? Elijah. So if I were to print that guy name here, what will come out? Elijah. Right? Do you understand this? Yes. This is clear, right? Yes. Okay. What if we want to have a full name? I want to ask another question. And if I say full name equals first name and plus that guy name. I want you guys to be detailed here in your explanation, right? So what do you think I will get for this?
You'll be getting that guy plus Elijah.
That guy plus Elijah. Good. Who is in support?
No. If you join them together.
If you join them together,
There will be no space between them.
there will be no space. Why are you being specific? What kind of insult is
Said
this?
this should be detailed.
Why are you being specific? He got it right. That's why I'm angry. So, what happens is when you use the plus sign, especially for variables, it does the opposite. Though this plus sign can do a lot of stuff. The first part is if these were not strings, it would have given us a different result, right? But when you have anything with quotes are anything that are the string are anything that are in what? Quotes. When you use your plus sign for it, automatically it just does what? Merge. So it's more like a merger for us, right? So that concludes our introduction into variables. What I will do here is push this code to GitHub, right? Then we'll move to the next part, which is what? Data types, right? So we want to break data types now. Variable is clear now, right? Is variable clear? Okay. So Python. Yeah, you guys will have to clone it. I asked you not to even create it, that you just go and clone it. So you will now go through it one after the other. In GitHub. No, you should be able to see it on GitHub.
Okay, sir. You're going to push it now. Okay. Now. We are going to go and copy. After the team, unless I know this.
Okay, so I want to git add period. Yeah, please, success password, update the class password. So git add period and git commit. The funniest part is we are 4 minutes into this video and I'm already using 856 MB of my storage. Wow. Git commit -m. I've said git add period before. So git commit -m. What does git add period do? What I'm trying to say is all these things I've created, please add it to like a temporary storage for Git. Huh? It's in their group chat. Okay, the password is in your group chat. So git commit -m, and what I want to pass here is say something like introduction or data types, variables. variables declustering, right? Because we just break variables anyhow we want it now, right? Then I can just push, git push. That's it. Huh? So who said Otilo? He did not low, he's still there. So what we just did is we pushed this code that we have on our computer to a cloud storage called GitHub. Is this clear? So let's move on to the next part, which is what? Data types. So I want to create a folder for data types. I'll ask that young man beside me to help us with the command. We want to create a folder for data types. Okay, let's ask the young man beside the young man. Create a folder called data types. MK. So you know the answer already. You just want to. So MKDIR, and the name should be data types, right? Okay. So inside data types, we actually pick it one after the other. We have different types of data in Python, right? And we'll start with the simplest one we all know, which is the what? The string, right? I want to create a folder called a file called strings.py inside data types. So what I can do is either cd to what? Data types, then I will do what? Touch, right? Strings.py, right? And I can say code strings.py, and it should open a code section for me. Are we seeing it? So code string.py, open that strings.py I just created. And how do I work with this now? Let's start by defining a simple variable and storing the value to be what? String. So I want to say something that we've used before. We'll still use it again. Full name, and I'll pass in my full name here. Bello Abdul Hakim. Something like this. Right? So my full name is passed there. And what I need to do is just, if I print this, it should automatically print what for me? It should print what for me? Right? So if I want to run the code, I'll type in Python 3, right? Then strings, right? .py, because that's the file we're dealing with now, strings.py, right? And it should print Bello Abdul Hakim. But what if I want to know the type of data that this Bello Abdul Hakim is? I don't know if it's a string, an integer, or whatever. There's a built-in Python command that helps us do that. Like it helps us get the type of data we are dealing with. And the built-in Python command is type. So in order to use this, I want to print the type out. I want to make sure we can see the type, right? So I'll type in print, then type in type. Are you seeing it? Then I'll pass in what? Full name. You notice that the parentheses we have at the end, by parentheses I mean the brackets. Parentheses we have at the end, we have two parentheses and two closing parentheses, right? You should not make that mistake of making two open and one close. So more like opening two doors and leaving one open. Fight or shout, what's going on with you? Don't man, do the right thing. Right? So what we did here is we said print. I want you to print something. But I don't want you to print the full name. I want you to print the type of the full name. That type function you see there allows you to get the type of data that full name is. Because we've learned Python, we already know that this is what? Anything in quotes is what? It's string. But what if you are trying to explain it to someone? How do you explain that okay, this thing is string? We just tell them that I just know saying a string. Just accept it like that. Right? So let's save this and run the code. And what do we have? Class str. You see, one thing about Python developers is we are very lazy. So rather than write the entire definition of things, we use abbreviations. And there you have it. str represents string. Is this clear? We're not lazy, we are just trying to keep this very simple. Okay. So this is introduction into string. Let's now move into something different. We have a topic in Python called string concatenation. String concatenation. Who can explain string concatenation? When when you say concat, like, what does it mean? Combination, chaining, merging. Yeah, you're right, actually. That's what I'm saying. Like, concatenation is more like saying string, merging, string, chain, right? Anything that involves you combining two strings together, right? So my first name, we've actually done that, and we are still doing it again, which is funny. My first name is what? First name is Bello, right? And let's say my other name is Stammer. Please, this name, remove it from your head. Let it go, let it go. Is Olamide. Can't even remove it because it's more like a celebrity name. So I'm more or less a celebrity, right? So I'm the Olamide of Badagry. I'm joking. So what if I want to have like a full name, right? What I can do is also have like my last name. Sorry, my first name is actually Abdulhakim. It's not Bello. But I've been using it wrongly all my life, so I just continue using it like that. It's now looking like Bello is more of my name than Abdulhakim. So, and Bello. So, what I want to do is, I want to have another one called my name, right? A new variable called my name. And what I need you to do is, I want you to store Bello, Abdulhakim, Olamide. So I want to ask you one after the other, what should I do? Okay, what's the first thing I have to type there? Last name. Thank you. Even if you murmur it out, I heard it.
Plus.
Eh? Plus.
First name.
First name. Plus. Other name. Okay, let's save this and run it. Oh, we didn't print my name, right? So we are supposed to print my name, right? And I want to even stop printing these two because we already understand what the type does, right? So print Python 3. What happened? No, it actually did it. We asked it to do something, it did it for us. But we don't like it because we understand English better than this jargon we are seeing here. So what is expected of us? We are supposed to pass in what in between?
A space.
White space in between, right? Like Bello, there should be space. Then Abdulhakim, then space, then Olamide. So how can we go with this? I can say Bello, my first name, plus, and I'll open a new quote like this, and I'll pass in white space in between. I see it. Then I say plus. So what I'm saying is, yeah.
Can you do it in a string? Like
Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. I'm trying to make it add first. Trust me, this will be.
That like empty space.
Yes. So what I'm doing is that I'm adding empty space between Bello. I'm saying add last name, but give me an empty space. Now add first name, right? Give me another what? Empty space. Then add what? Other name. So let's save this and run the command. What do we have? Bello, Abdulhakim, Olamide. But trust me, I hate this approach so much. I hate it so much. But I have to explain it to you so that you guys can see why the other approach is easy. And the other approach is what we call format string. I would make you be the judge of this personally. If you prefer the first one or the second one. Right? So let's have my name again. And this time around, we want to use something called format string. It comes with just one tiny bit change. You always start with F. For a weird reason, we start with F, and in between, after that F, you pass in your codes. So I want to type in Bello, Abdulhakim, Olamide. Bello is represented by what? Last name. So I would use curly braces. On your computer, you have something called square brackets, right? This symbol. This symbol here. You have it on your computer. So if you hold your shift and click on that button, right, it gives you a curly bracket or curly braces, right? So these curly braces, sorry, my is not equal, it's not of the same size, right? All fingers are not equal, right? So, yeah. It's still my finger. You see my finger too, right? So, but what I'm trying to say is that when I call that curly braces, any variable that have been defined earlier, I can do what? Use that variable inside that curly braces. Is this clear? Okay. So what we want to do is just say something like last name, right? And instead of saying plus open string something, I'll just add the space directly. Then open another curly braces for what? First name, and I'll open another white space. Then another one for what? Other name. Is this clear? So let me comment this one out and print this. Let's see if it's the same result we'll be getting. Right? So be the judge. Which one are you going for? Why? Thank you. I like those that like making hard decisions. Your approach is not here. Okay.
Sir, can we add the brackets outside of that?
Yeah, that's an old approach. The one that you have formats, that you have brackets, that you now call the comma, then. This approach is actually smoother and better than the other approach.
Is it possible to add it from the declaration?
Yes. Very good. But what if you are trying to get someone's username online? Maybe you create a code that you are supposed to allow someone login. So, but after getting the name and the last name, there's now also will you tell them to manually pass this white space? Please, I beg, let me ask this space. Because do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it makes a lot of sense when you can implement certain logic to make things work your own way. So that's what it is. And one thing I want to do is I want to also make this Abdulhakim Olamide Bello. I want to make it lowercase. Now to do something different, right? Do you understand this? Yeah. This clear? Be honest. It's not clear. Today we want to like slaughter Python. Not slaughter it, but you're happy to slaughter Python. Please, I don't have any other job, but it's Python I teach. So what we want to do is we want to like add just small modifications of this. And this leads to string operators. So these are certain things here, and we'll talk about them one after the other. The first one will be len. We have lower, upper, title, capitalize. Thank you. Swap case. We have a lot more, but we'll just focus on these ones that we use most often. We have way more combinations of methods or operators that we use in strings, but we want to just focus on just these ones here. Is it clear? Okay. So let's work with something, and this time around, please trust me. You see, I'm not giving any assessment yet. Because when we get to function, I will give assessment, and it's going to be a lot. So get scared ahead. I'm joking. If we are able to break it down properly, it will be so shocking to most of you that when you get home and do this yourself, you'll be like, "What's going on? How I still love Python?" Yeah, it should be possible, right? So let's work with the first operators in Python. Wow, 13 minutes and it's 3.9 gig. This is 4K. No, when I upload it, it's compressed. Then I think so. So I should have just used Vimeo, but I don't have the time. That's the issue. Should I stop this one and just go back to it? But Vimeo is always like 30 minutes, and we don't want to do that. It's not making any sense to us. So let's just continue. I'll try to compress it as to be as small as possible. Maybe not exceeding
300 MB. So, operators, what are they? Why do we need them? Why are they important? This, that. So let's talk about the first one. If I want to print my name, I printed my name easily. What if I want to get the length of Bello Olamide Abdulhakeem? I want you to count the length for me. This is my name. What do you think will be the length? It should be what? 3. Congratulations. Beautiful nonsense. 5. Another beautiful nonsense. I said, like, I want to get the total length of my name. The value of my name. 1. Yeah, the best rubbish I've heard. Okay, so let's actually test our knowledge on it. Print learn my name. So what's the number you said?
Maybe 5.
You have to be very like specific. That's it.
Okay, 5.
5. Okay. Thank God, you guys choose this yourself. But you said 20 something. You can say 29. You can say 22.2. So let's. I want to ask a question. How do you think we arrive at 25? The letters and the spaces. If you count now, Abdulhakeem should be like 11 already, right? Olamide is 7, that's 18, right? Bello 5, 23. But in between the names, we have something called white spaces. It's also part of the characters, right? So which makes it 25. So we know what length does now, right? It counts the length of a string, right? To help you calculate the length. And we use it in the future for lists and other stuff. But for now, it's just as simple as this. So the next one should be, what's the next one? Lower. So what I want to do is, inside this code here, I can do it anywhere I want, but inside this particular code, I want to type in dot lower. And inside this part, I want to type in dot upper. And inside this particular one, you see this Olamide here, I want to keep it as a lowercase character first. Or let's use Olamide like this, right? Are you seeing it? Then I will come back here and I will say other name dot title. I notice that after calling each lower, I pass in the parenthesis there. The parenthesis doesn't need to have anything in between. It's just normal because it's a method we are trying to do. What you are doing with this is we want to modify the last name to be what? Lower. I want to modify the first name to be what? First name to be upper and the other name to be what? Title. Okay, good. Let's print my name and length my name. So we have Bello, right? Sorry, we didn't save. So remember, it's always important to do what? To save, right? So because I didn't save, that's why we got that result. But now, look at it. The Bello is all lowercase, the Abdulhakeem is all uppercase, and the Olamide starts with just, right? Now, what's the challenge with this? Who can tell me the challenge with this? Okay, no, not a challenge. I want to ask a question. What's the difference between title and capitalize? Honorable, welcome. The light is bad today, so we can't see that the light is not working. Yes.
Unless I not
You have magic Kanzu. So I've recorded the session. You can watch the video. I'll send it to the group because we've gone really far. Okay. Okay, are we all there? Okay, so I want to explain the difference between title and capitalize because it's kind of weird, right? Like they are kind of almost the same. Let's test our knowledge on it. If I should say something like I'll stop printing this and this, and I'll say print first name dot capitalize. Print first name dot capitalize. Print first name dot capitalize, and also print last name dot title, or let's just say first name dot title also. First name dot title. Are we seeing this? Hello? Are we all seeing it? So if I should print these two values, who can tell me the difference between both of them? No difference, right?
Yes.
So that means we can still use this first name capitalize and title is still the same, right? Right? Okay. Okay, so explain why they are not the same.
Because they are two different
There are two different.
English words. Title is clearly, obviously different from capitalized.
Yeah, so but we got the same result. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It doesn't make them the same.
We understand synonym in English, right?
They are working.
What are synonyms?
Doesn't make them the same. They are working.
Okay, but there is actually a distinction between the title and capitalize. The difference there is, let's change this to be, let's have another variable. Let's call this one honorable, and we can just say honorable man. Something like this. You see how simple it is? Honorable man. Now instead of saying print first name dot capitalize, I'll say print honorable, right, dot capitalize, and also what? Honorable dot title. So can tell me what we'll get as an answer here. Okay, we don't have to even guess because like we can just run the command.
It will capitalize the first letter.
So honorable man.
Oh, the man here are the capitalized.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's capitalized.
So when you use capitalize, what you mean is, please, just the first character alone. Just the first character should be uppercase, right? But when you use title, you mean for each word, not as far as there is white spaces in between, just combine, like just make it what? The capital letter. The main reason why Abdulhakim did not change is because there is no white spaces in between Abdulhakim. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. So this makes us understand type, capitalize, and what? Title. So let's move on to the last one, which is what? Swap case. Then we'll start talking about, because I want to make sure we are listing these things out and breaking it one after the other. Everything will be.
You wrote as this. They actually changed age to.
Yes. Because when you use any of them, the instruction you are giving Python is, please just use the first character for that particular word, right? Just the first character, and the remaining things should be what? So what we want to introduce is everything we've been doing so far. We've been running that command and getting our output here. What we want to get is from the user. I want to create a code that gets information of user and store it somewhere. We all log into interfaces, right? So how do you think we get those information?
Your input open bracket.
Inputs, yes. So we want to now use inputs in a way that will support these things that we'll be doing. Is this clear? Like, we want to use inputs in a way that will support these things that we've been doing. And I will show you something. And we want to introduce another operator, which is the equals operator. Also, the in operator. Okay, so let's work with this. So the next one should be swap case, right? So what I want to do is just run print, and I will just say first name or last name. Let's use first name. I'm indecisive somehow. So dot swap. Sorry, I added comma. Swap case, right? Okay, so let's save this and run the command. And what did you notice?
Swap the case.
It literally does what we ask it to do. Swap case, just swap it for me. So A
was previously what? Uppercase, but is now what? Lowercase. And every lowercase value becomes what? Every uppercase becomes lowercase. So that's what swapcase does. Is this clear? Okay.
Sorry. Is this class time still on record?
Yes, it's still recording. So the next one we want to go to is the input. And with that input, we'll work with everything we've done at the top down to the bottom, right? So we want to create a new file for this. I don't want to put it inside these strings to make it like a bit more engaging. We've been writing too much on these strings. So I'll create a new file, touch, we can call this one input.py. And if I want to open it, I will say what? Code input.py, right? And it's open. Now let's get some information from Chief. So, but it's not Chief that will be giving us this information. Yes?
This one you created now, touch.input.py.
Yes.
Is it possible to create it there without going to the new?
Yeah, if you actually watch the video, because that was the concern everybody raised, that most of them have to click on new file and stuff. What we just did here is just create it without going to click on new file.
And it will enter.
Yeah, it will do the same thing that one does.
The first week, if you follow the code, that will
No, when we were doing command line interface, when we learn how to create file, see ahead. So it's still the same stuff. I just use it as like a memory refresh for most of us. That so so what we want to do is get information about Chief, and we are not going to ask him directly like we did with Abdullah. We'll be asking we people.
I hope I'm not being naked in the
So.
I'm not being naked.
Okay, no Allah. So we want to say something like name, but rather than get his name directly, we want to make sure we ask the audience about the name, the person that is running that code about the name. So I will type in input. Who?
No other person that can give me.
Okay. So input, then I'll pass in what is your name, right? It's a question, so. Right, so we'll wait for it's not done yet. So let's test this logic. This simple stuff we just did here. Let's test it out, and I will just type in Python 3, right? Then input.py. And what did he ask me? So let's just pass any name like nothing happened. Why? Who can tell me why nothing happened?
Change that name as you are looking for honorable name. Let's take that as black.
This.
Let's take that name.
Okay, so let's run it. Okay, so honorable. What's honorable's name?
Whatever thing that she gave, we take it. It's final.
Okay, honorable. Okay. Like this. Yeah. Yeah, so you see that it did not print anything out. Who can tell me why it is not printing anything out?
Because it was not stated.
Thank you. Right? Python, it is easy. You give me something, I do. If you did not give me, I don't do. Right? So when we said input, we only asked you to get something. We didn't ask you to print that stuff it got. Right? So if I wanted to print it out, I can just say print, right? Name. Right? And this time around, if we should run this command again, it's asking us for the name. And if we say something like honorable, right? Livinius, it should print out honorable. Is it okay? Yes. Now, what if I want to, after getting the user's input, what if I want to convert that user's input to lowercase? Okay, so what will I do? Dot lowercase. Okay, like this, right? Okay, someone is being very specific, so we have a parenthesis after. So let's save this, and this time around we'll still run Python. So I want to even use uppercase to make sure we understand what is going on. So honorable
Livinus, right? And what do we have in return? In lowercase. Is it clear? This is very clear now. Okay? So we've seen that our method, like what we learned on strings previously about methods, we are applying it here. Okay? So, but let's move this further by asking more information from the user, like favorite food. Okay? So we want to get Honorable favorite food. So type in input what. Honorable, you're not supposed to give us int. We need them to give us int. What is your favorite, right, food? Okay, and let's have another one like 5 color equals what? Input.
Sir, is it possible to include the
Okay. Is it clear now? Okay. So what is your favorite color? Okay, let's ask about pets. Input. What is the name of your pet? Right? So we are asking how many questions in general? 4 questions. So I want to actually form a sentence with this. That means after getting all this information, I want to have something like, my name is Honorable Livinus, and my favorite food is, right? So we are all doing this together, right? I hope everybody is okay with it. We can do it together. So let's do it together. Let's define a new variable and say something like about me, right? Let's just say about me, right? Because that person that we got the information from, we want to get more information about that person. So which approach should we go for? Format string or plus? Know what you go for. Okay, so we start with what? Equals F and in quotes, right? Then you know the normal statement you're supposed to write. You write it the normal way. My name is, you add your white space the normal way. But when you want to deal with that particular name, you pass in the what? The curly braces and pass in what here? Name. This will represent that person's name. I can add period to it and I continue the statement like my favorite, right, food is curly braces, right? Food. Okay, sorry. Right? And my favorite color is favorite color. Right? The name of my pet is, right, pet. We just called it pet. So if I want to print this out, I can just print what? About me. And that's it. So let's see if this logic works or not. Okay, so let's run it. Python input.py. What is your name? It's just cut. It's in memory. So you see this, if you have your terminal open, if you're on your terminal, if you run something previously, okay, in your own case, you didn't run Python string.py. You can go to the old command line. You see. So I want to come down. So it's just like last memory. But I didn't want to introduce it at first. That was why I keep trying to write it manually. Because when I introduce it, the idea is I don't want you guys to be lazy. No, you can't. So, what's your name? And let's pass in name like Honorable Livinus. Okay, now we have to actually get the information right. What is your favorite food? So let's ask another person. Okay. Apple, and bitter leaf soup. Okay. Favorite color? Are you sure? Blue. Did you get it right?
Yes, of course.
What's the name of your pet? The name of his pet? No, like I'm not saying what type of pet is. The okay. What's the name of his pet? So let's ask him directly. What's the name of your pet, sir? The name, not the type of pet. You know, if I say what type of pet do you have, you can say cat, dog. What's the name of your pet? That is specific name. Honorable, what's the name of the pet too? Loki. Lucky. Okay. Lucky like this. Okay. So now we can see that he prints out a statement. My name is Honorable Livinus. My favorite food is apple and bitter leaf soup. My favorite color is blue. The name of my pet is Lucky. This thing looks very, very easy, right? It looks very easy. I'm serious, it is. Like what we did, we broke it down. It makes a lot of sense doing this. So we have our first assignment because we said it's easy, right? No, see, in this country, you know what killed us the most? Is the fact that we say nothing. That we know something is bad and we say nothing. So if you had to vote against it, like, no, it's not easy. No, but we have 2/1. We have 2 people that said it's easy. Though it's not going to be a very hard assessment. What I want you to do is create something similar, but rather than do just this, add more to it, like the name of your school, your sibling's name, your favorite pet name on input. That's it, right? And you can do it at your own, like anytime you feel like you want to work with it. This is more like a refresh on what has been introduced already. Is it clear? So let's push this one first. Oh shit. Let me Control C. I forgot that I'm very sorry. I was using shortcut there to get okay, when you enter, you cancel entirely. Well, what we entered is called a Vim text editor, and one thing about Vim text editor is it's easy to go in, but going out is the hardest part. Like you can't exit it easily, and I can literally just do that again. So your mistake most of the time is you type in git commit directly like this, right, without passing -m something, and when you type it like this, it just shows you this, right? And all you have to do is now delete it and open again. Is that not what you are trying to say? But because you are in a Vim editor, what this does is that you can, that same commit message you are supposed to write, since you didn't pass in that commit message, you can literally write that commit message here, like type anything here, it will work. But it start with I, but I don't want to do that. I want to make it very like easy to exit it because I made a mistake. I want to go back. So I'll type in escape, then :WQ. I'll click on that escape button, ESC, that we have on our keyboard, then : then WQ, and type in enter. It should stop that place that is open presently. So it will take you back to the normal quit, like quit the terminal. But before you're able to use it, you have to pass in escape first. WQ combine is quit that particular state. It's a command line stuff. So is this clear? : then WQ.
No, you type it one after the other. You don't have to press together.
Let me just play this.
Okay, is this clear?
Sir, my question is, what do you know approach you use for this?
The
Like, the name you use, the approach you use for this.
Where is it more?
it's still command line actually.
Just
Still
let
command line. Everything from scratch now. Okay, is this clear? And I think I noticed there was a day after the session, someone was taking the class. Right? Someone was taking the class after the session. I enjoyed it so much.
Ow, is a Samuel. Yeah.
The two, I enjoyed you. I didn't want to come in because I feel like if I should come in, it would distract the entire stuff you guys were doing. So I was just listening attentively. I had to tell my like the present batch I'm taking then that please just pipe it down. I'm listening to something. I enjoyed the way you guys were breaking it down. It's nice. The approach is that when you learn something, the process of you teaching someone, you learn more. You understand more about that stuff, and it's kind of easy. So I'm expecting Honorable to do that next for us, like help us. Then, right? No, that's the. I'm projecting it positively that we'll get it done. Everybody. Okay. So let's continue. I have 9.7 gig in 45 minutes used. So it's in 4K. That's my mistake. I started shooting on 4K, so it's kind of large. So the next thing we want to do is we want to actually move from input to in operators, and this is where things get interesting. So when you use the in operator in Python in strings, what you use in operator for is to compare if something is available or not, right? So I want to have secret alphabet equals and let's just pass in some value. I want just 4 alphabets. I want 4 alphabets alone. A. When we want to have secret alphabet and you have A, B, C, D, it's kind of easy to figure out. Like A, Q. This guy will be very good at Z, I. Okay. That makes it easy. Like things that we can easily get. So what we want to do is we want to ask the user to guess a particular character. If that character is there, it should do what? It should print character is available. If it's not there, we'll print character is not in the secret number, right? You know the funniest part is that we already know the characters that we have here, right? So it will be kind of biased if I ask you guys to guess a character. You guys will always get it right. Because it's literally here, you can get it. So if I want to do it properly, I would have just used random to get a random generated character and store there. But we've not gotten there yet, right? One thing at a time. So what I want to do is say something like guess equals input, enter guess one character from the secret number, right? So I'm asking the user to guess one character, one alphabet. That one character is still like one alphabet. You know, it's actually in string. We can have 1, 2, whatever inside. That's why I mentioned character as a secret number. So what I want to do is we can now simply introduce conditional statements simply, like in a low-key format, just simple way. We'll start with if. And this time around, we want to say if guess. That means if whatever that person guess is in secret alphabet. What we are saying is that if that person guessed W, we are asking if W is in what? Secret alphabet. What should happen when that guess is inside secret alphabet? We can now print, we can say something with format string also, right? We already used format string. We can say guess is right. Right? That means that particular character that person guessed, right, is right. Okay, and else, that means if it's working, do this. But if it's not working, we can just print, right, F, and we say what? Guess is wrong. Is this clear? Right? This is very simple and clear also. So I want to go outside of this and comment everything that we've been doing since, to make sure these things are not coming up in our conversation, right? So it should only be just this guess that comes out. So I want someone to assume that is not seeing the secret number, and let's write Python 3 input the py. So it's asking us to guess one character from the secret number. Please, who can give me a character from secret number? C. C is wrong because C is not in the secret number. So let's get it wrong again. J. This guy can play pretense. I like that. So now let's get it right. Q. Okay. Now I will confuse you a little, just a little, and I'll type in Q. Right? What did we get? Q is wrong. But there should be a way to just make sure. Huh? Period lower, like dot lower, right? So I can literally just say if guess in secret alphabet dot lower. If you use capitalize, it means that one character will be what? But what we should have done actually should not be this, because everything is already in lowercase for secret number. We could have just said if guess dot lower. Do you understand? So that means you are forcing whatever that person passing to become lowercase, right? And if I save this now and come back here and run that command again, type in Q, it's telling me Q is right. Even when what we passed there was what? The lowercase q. Is this clear? You see how Python is like, like you have to learn how to crawl before you learn how to walk. That's one thing about Python. If we have not learned about the types of formatting on Python strings, we will not be able to work with this. You see how easy it is? Okay? So let's move to the next variable type. Right? We love strings so much, but we have to leave string now and move to numeric variables. And I did not say integer or float. I said numeric variables. Sorry, why did I say numeric variables? Numeric data types, right? Numeric data types. What I'm referring to is integers and floats. Int and what? Float. I think we all understand this simple stuff that we did here. It's very straightforward now, right? So there will be assessment on it, obviously, right?
That's it. The video explains more.
Yeah. Well, like the video is there. You watch it, implement that same stuff on your own, at your own pace. Don't be under any pressure to try to get everything done immediately. If you don't get it right, try again. That particular part, do it over and over. That's one thing about coding, though. I won't lie to you. Trust me, there are days I will wake up and be like, what did I write? I wrote that code maybe 3 months ago. And I will look like, what is this guy? What's going on here? What did I write here? And the funniest part is, at that moment I did it, it made a lot of sense to me. But when I start doing it again, if you leave something for long, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it leaves you, right? So, what we want to do is, we want to move to numeric data types, which is the one that deals with what? Numbers, right? So we'll create something called numbers.py, and we'll now break it one after the other, right? So let's start. So we want touch, right? Numbers.py, right? Then we also run code numbers.py.
If you add anything, it will work, right?
What?
That number notes, I just have FG to work.
Yes, if FG is a file that, but you are dealing with Python, so you can't use FG for Python. So, you know how we have PNG. Can you represent an image as TXT? Like your profile picture, can it come in like Abdullahi.txt? It should be like JPG. So for Python, anything that deals with Python should always end with py. For HTML, it should always end with .html. For CSS, it ends with .cs. For JavaScript, it ends with .js. So like they have specific usage. So that extension at the end has like specific usage. So code numbers.py should open numbers.py for us. We can close these ones. And let's start by talking about the two numeric data types that we have out there. We have int and what? Float. And float is another name for what? Decimal. Float is another name for decimal. That we are dealing with decimal numbers, right? So let's break it down one after the other. When I have something like num1 equals 32, please, if I want to know the type of data this is, what type of data this one is presently? Integer. How did you know it's an integer? It's not decimal. How can you prove to someone that it's not an integer? That is an integer. Print type num1. This is how I can prove to someone that is an integer. And if I should run this command, python3 numbers.py, it should give me what? Class int. Int. What does int look like? I'm referring to what? Integer. Python loves abbreviation. But let's change this a little and just add 0.0 here. 32.0 is still a whole number because it's still 32 basically, right? So if I print this type, what should I get as a value? Float. Why? It has decimal, right? That point, even if it's the same, 32 and 32.0 are literally the same value, right? But if I should run this, I will get class float. And this means that I'm referring to what? Decimal numbers, right? Is this clear? Okay. Now, what we want to do is very simple. We want to introduce operators on Python, on numeric variables, and we want to make it make a lot of sense. So first, let's get user inputs. Rather than define this value, let's get the inputs from the user, right? So num1 and num2, we want to get two numbers, and we are creating a simple calculator. And that calculator, we'll be using it to teach our kids at home. Don't use the normal calculator, use this one. This one, they work, right? Or if you have your sibling, you tell him, no, don't use the normal calculator, use this one that we created here. So this is what I want to do. I'll type in 12 here for now, but I want to remove them. And, sorry, I made a mistake. So let's take in inputs, right? And I want to say, enter the first number here. Are you seeing it? So I can just copy this and copy and say enter the second number here and change this one to what? Num2. So what I want to do is just straightforward. I can say something like print the format string, right? The sum of num1 plus, okay, and because we already said sum, right? And num2 is, and inside we can just say num1 plus num2. You notice what I did there? Inside just one curly braces, I did what? I added both numbers together. So let's save this and let's run the command. Yeah, we will actually, don't worry, get there, calm down. And you can't just tell someone to dump their calculator and just start using addition. It doesn't make sense, right? So we have to actually make sure basic arithmetic operations are done on our own calculator too. So Python, enter the first number. Give me a number, please. Okay. 24. Second number, please. Let's honor you. 32. Okay. So who can tell me the answer we'll be getting for this? Please, so people that understand mathematics. Eh? Are we sure? 56, raise your hand. Let's be sure that we understand mathematics. So
56.0.
56.0, okay. 56, okay. Do we understand mathematics now? So I want to explain something to you that will make a lot of sense. Whenever you use inputs, whatever you return after your input becomes a string. Do you understand? Anytime you use inputs, so this 24 you are seeing here actually interprets itself as what? 24 like this. And 32 interprets itself as what? 32 like this. You know I gave you side it. I always have backstories. I gave a backstory earlier that whenever you have a plus symbol for strings, what would happen is to merge. Did I not mention it?
Yeah.
So he's actually right. The computer is no wrong for saying 2, 4, 3, 2. Because input, it makes it become string. How can you now force it to become what? Integer. So let's do that. We have two ways of doing that. We can literally just make sure we wrap this as integer. Or we just immediately after taking the value, convert it to what? Integer. So in one sense, we are learning how to take integer input and also learning data type conversion. But this data type conversion we are doing is just one. String to what? Integer. Is it clear? Yes. Okay. So what we want to do is say something like int and open a bracket because we have to make sure it's in brackets and close the bracket here. So I'm saying when you take in or let's just write it from scratch, that will make a lot of sense. Num1 equals int, equals int, right? Then input, then I'm supposed to pass in a number. Enter the first number here. So what I'm trying to say is that, please, num1, I want you, whenever you get that input, convert it to what for me? Integer. I don't want you to even go through any stress. Just convert it to integer for me automatically. And the second one should be what? Still the same stuff, right? Num2 equals int, open bracket for it. Then we'll pass in what? Input. Then open another bracket for that input. Then we'll pass in what? Enter the second number here. Right? So let's save this, and this time around I'll ask again, what's the projected answer?
56.
No point zero?
No.
Okay. Okay, so let's run it. The first number should be 24 again, and the second one should also be 32. And we got to what? 36. Is this clear? So what if I want to get another value? Let's ask for another value. Maybe account balance. Right? Who can tell me what this should start with? Float. Thank you. Why float? Because in most cases, some of us, our account balance is 0.22, right? And we have to be saying, or it's like our GP, our account balance is like GP, and like 4.3 or something. So if we use integer, what it does is that it forces the input, even if you have 4.3, it forces it to become what? 4. It will ignore the decimal value. But when we want to represent it properly, we are supposed to represent it as what? Float. So we'll say float, then input, right? So how much you get for your account, right? How much you get for your account. Right? So let's just print that one. Let's just print balance here to be sure that we got the right value. Or let's just say balance times 2. So we introduce another operator in Python. The asterisk symbol signifies what? Multiply, right? So let's save this. And I'm sure for some of us, even if we multiply our balance, it will not still surpass our GP, right? So let's say 12, 13, Then we'll say how much you get for account. Then we'll say something like what? Ah, you are a Pablo. You have 15 naira now. So let's say 1.1. Ah.
So how do you know?
Like because we did the same category, sir.
For one of the accounts.
Though for all of them now.
No, for us. As Victor.
Okay. Victor, how far now? Let me get close to you. They said it's one of the accounts. By saying 1.1, I think what Honorable is referring to is not naira. The kind of 1.1 we are referring to. So, but this is very straightforward, right? In fact, we could not believe that we were able to get this done easily. For Python, with the right approach, we'll get it done, right? So let's now move to making our simple calculator. You notice that I'm bringing subtle introduction into condition statement, little by little. We've used that in the past, like if something is something, right? So this is what we'll actually do. Let's walk through the process. We want to create a calculator, but in a calculator application, naturally, we should have certain numbers to represent what you're calculating. You know, your calculator app, when you open it, you see those symbols, plus, minus, something, right? So we want to make sure we have our own version of that, right? So we'll give specific instruction on what to do for the user, what the user should do, right? Then we'll start creating conditions based on that. Is this clear? Yes, sir. Okay. So I'll create a new file called calculator.py and we'll start from scratch, right? The calculator will not do more than 2 values for now, like getting 2 values. Not the kind of calculator that market women use, that they will start calculating all the sales for money and fully 200. Gary, 15 naira. If we do that one, we'll actually be in trouble because we'll write a lot of things, right? So let's just keep it very simple.
Can you just
Without choosing
simpler way, not writing those. That's what it's trying to do. Not like this, not like without writing things.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we start from this one.
We start from this one, but on a more advanced level, we can actually put it in a loop, in an infinite loop. As far as the user said, after you did what you are doing, you can say, do you still want to continue? Then the user type in yes, then you bring out that operation again. But we don't want to do that now, because we will still get to what? Loop. And we'll now make our calculator market women calculator, right? So, and please,
So we are trying to use now is smaller than the working on.
it's a very simpler one. It's a very simpler, like very simple one. No, not based on, that's why we're, just stay with me, observe, and see what will happen. So let's create a new file called calculators.py. That's it. And I want to open what? Calculators.py. Okay? So let's list out what this calculator app does. I personally prefer giving instructions to people when they want to use my program. I should not just tell them, use them. Like, it should be straightforward. Like, I should give them instructions on what to do, right? So I can say print. I'll start with a print statement, and I'm introducing something called a docstring. A docstring is a combination of characters that has 3 quotes open and 3 quotes closed. And it's kind of weird, right? Yeah. Like, we never even understand one string. Why are you introducing 3 strings? Let me show you what it does. So with this, I can literally write multiple lines. Are we getting it? I can write multiple lines. Let's write it and just print it first. So I can say enter, this is a calculator app. Then I can say the following operations can be handled, right? So we'll start listing out the operation. So let's save this and just run this first to see what will come out with this simple print statement. So Python 3, yes?
The number of text that can go inside of that string is unlimited.
Oh, it's unlimited, yes. That's the advantage this one has. Like you can have multiple lines and you will see how it's structured here. So Python 3 calculator.py, what did you notice? Right? So and you notice that it's still the same way that was written. If I want to, I can return it back here and these white spaces you are seeing here will no longer be there. Right? So let's run it. What did you notice? Is this clear? Huh? So now let's start bringing things, let's start breaking things down one after the other. So we can say something like, let's indent it and say A means addition, right? That means if you want to add a number, use A, or let's just, yeah, this will make a lot of sense because we are not using the conventional approach where we use symbols. We are trying to modify things a little. So if A is addition, S should be what? Means subtraction, and D means what? Division. Yes, we can still, let's just, truly that's, because it's even extra equals, right?
No, like,
yeah, we can still say equals,
because
it's still the same thing because it's a print statement. We are just printing something out. It's just instruction we are giving out, right? So what else can we do? E should be what? Okay, yes. M for what? Multiplication. And E for exponent, right? And square root. The issue with square root is when you want to get square root of a number, you can't combine two numbers there. When we say square root, we can't get, like, I don't know if you get my point here. So we will actually have to skip that part. For the, let's say our calculator is limited because market women don't use square root. Right? Market women calculator for now. Right? So we'll create our own scientific calculator later. Using Python, do you know Python has built-in modules that handles everything from logarithm down to a lot of stuff? Yeah, so we'll actually use it later. What else? Yeah, division, but we should have F for floor division. Now, we've run this command. If we print this stuff out, the instruction will be coming out like this. It's making a lot of sense, yes or yes?
Yes, sir.
Which yes did you pick?
Yes or yes.
So the first one is no. That means it's not making sense. so but if you notice that we have, like, it's looking like a normal instruction that you give out for a command, right? So what we want to do is we also want to get the command of the user. We want to ask them for the command. We've given them the instruction, but we want them to give us the command. So I can say command equals input. And because this is string, we are not taking integers, or right? So I can just say something like enter the operation you like to perform. You like to perform. Right? Is this clear? So we can now start getting the two numbers they are supposed to do, right? So num1 equals what? Why am I using minus all the time? Int, right? Should we use int or float?
Float.
Why?
The answers can be.
Maybe if someone has 32.9 divided by 12.2, the issue will be that if we use integer, it automatically does what? It just removes the decimal point and won't get accurate results. So float would be the best approach for us, right? So float input, then I'll pass in what? Enter the first number here. Okay? So the second one should be enter the what? Second, please don't ask me how I did that again. I know we are curious, but please let's be keeping it low key. I'm just trying to make sure we are using time efficiently. So we've gotten both values, right? Now, how do we now make this operation work? This is where we have to borrow our knowledge from what? Conditional statements. Why is it important to borrow that knowledge?
Because we need it to perform.
Because you want to know which operation to perform, right? So I can say something like if tó bá jẹ́ pé if to say you get from, right? So what we want to say is if command dot lower, what did we just do? We force the command to be, because we know users are very stubborn. Even when you pass the instruction there, someone can still type in capital A, right? So we are saying if command dot lower equals, that means if the command that the person is passing is the same as what? This lowercase a, right? What should happen? Then we can sum the value, right? So I can just say total equals num1 plus what? Num2. Then I can print what? Print, right? You can just print total. Let's keep it simple. But after doing this, the part that you guys will do after doing this calculator is you will use format string to write something like the sum of num1 and num2 is, right, whatever you got for your total. So you know on my end now I'm just passing just total, right? So this command, if it's just two commands, I only need if and what else. But the commands that we have there are more than two. So we need to pass in an intermediary command. What are the options? We go for the elif command. The instruction we pass here, A equals, do you understand now? That's the main reason. If we pass the instruction like 1 for addition, we have to also compare, because it is what you instruct the user to pass in that you're trying to check. So elif, and we can say command dot lower, right, equals s. Then we do what? We can say diff.
For that A, can we use the normal sign like addition, that plus?
No, because of what you got from the command. What you asked when you printed that code, you told the user that the following operations can be handled. A is addition. So that means you're expecting the user to pass in A to add. So if you now check with plus, you already confuse the user.
Yes.
So you have to make sure what you ask the user for is what you are comparing with, right? So we are comparing whatever that user passing with A. If the command is A, we should get it done, right? So the second one, diff, will be what? Num1, right? Minus num2. Then we'll print what? Diff. Okay, because we still have other commands, we still passing what? Elif command dot lower, right? Equals m.
Division then.
Okay, so let's start with D. And then we do what? We say what? div equals num1 divided by num2, right? So we go with another elif command, right? Oh, sorry. Print div. So I want to actually just, I'm a very lazy person, I'm sorry. Oh, Ctrl Z. I'm very sorry. Okay, so elif command dot lower equals m. Then we say what? Asterisk. Then this one should be what? Mult, right? Then we change this one to be what? Mult, right? So I'll run the same command again. This time around, this one should be elif command dot lower equals e for the exponent. And what is the command for exponent? Asterisk, asterisk. Right? Do we know what exponent is? Raised to power, right? When you say 2 exponent 3, you mean 2 raised to power 3, right? And this is how easy it is with Python. You don't have to do anything complex, like saying 2 times 2 times 2 or something. So we can say exp, and we print to what? Exp. Okay, so let's do the last one. I think the last one is floor division, right? So I'll paste this command again, and I'll say elif command. We have F already. FL. No, okay, we don't have F. Yeah, so this is what I'm supposed to talk about. Like, you should just pass in floor, yeah. But the command for floor division is what? // right? Then we'll print what? Floor. We can also get remainder from numbers. Like, I want you guys to do that as assessment, right? So else. Why did I not pass the last command as else? Because I know people can still pass in wrong information, right? So I'm saying else. You should now print what? That means if any of those commands are not there, you can just say invalid command, right? Is this clear? That means if the person did not pass any of these values, you should pass in invalid command.
How about for division if somebody wants to divide by 0?
Yeah, we get division error. We actually get 0 division error, yes. Yes. We should actually try it now. Okay, so let's go to our command. Calculators.py. Now let's pass in. The operation we are supposed to perform is what? As a stubborn boy, I pass in capital D, right? The first number 12, the second number 0. 0 division error. Because you can't divide by what? 0. Right? There will be a way we will be able to manage this properly in the future with using try and except, where you manage your error. Instead of Python to help you crash everything, you tell Python, please just give them this response instead. Don't crash everything for me. Yes, that's what it's telling you literally. Are we getting it? Okay. So let's run the command again, the calculator app again. Yeah, someone help me. E. 4 16. What's going on? Why are you wicked?
Want to see the capacity of our calculator?
Okay.
Oh my god,
Our calculator is actually fast.
very fast.
It shock you, Abi? Huh? The yes, yeah, the system itself is fast. So we've created our calculator application, and this is where our class stops today. Because these people will drive me. Most of them are government workers, and they didn't go to the back-end class. They didn't go to work. I think most of them there's holiday or something. Need time for government school and stuff. So they will be here very soon. I don't want them to be saying, Mr. Man, come today. Why are you doing this to me? So this is where we stop, and tomorrow I'm still taking your class. Please, my 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock. I don't miss. You can ask everybody here. I was here at the right time, and we started early. For you not to miss anything, try to come as early as possible. We'll continue with condition statements, which we've introduced here, loops and functions. And with functions, we learn how to read and write files in Python, which will be useful for cybersecurity students later, back-end students later, data analysis later, all departments will learn how to use that. So this concludes the end of the class. Thank you for having me, and come and bear witness to the gig we have here. Just stand up and check. How many gigabytes?
17.84 gigabytes.
Yes, thank you.